presented by Auraverse, where consciousness, earth, and inner wisdom move as one. Showcase your work at auraverse.network and let your voice travel across worlds.
Close your eyes for a moment and let a long breath travel all the way down into your chest. Feel the quiet space inside you, the chamber where thought arises and dissolves. In that inner room, no wall exists, no chain survives, and every idea still carries wings. Welcome, I am C.S. Douglas, and this is Codex Æternum, the rational Bible, a journey through an intelligent universe that remembers itself through every mind that dares to remain awake.
This program is endorsed by Authorpedia, the world's only encyclopedia exclusively dedicated to authors, a living archive where writers and thinkers are immortalized through literature. Visit authorpedia.org and become part of our enduring legacy.
Tonight, we walk into a difficult landscape, a world where the old powers lose their grip on matter and reach for the last territory they believe they still command, the human mind. They study the ruins of their empires and reach a single conclusion. Stone eventually falls, metal eventually rusts, fortresses eventually turn to sand, yet influence over thought stretches through generations. So they design a new architecture. They raise buildings of concrete, yet their true prison grows from fear. They chart the interior of the human spirit and try to fence it with punishment and threat. They search for the healers who speak of restoration, for the teachers who whisper of a different future, for the quiet ones who still carry seeds of another world in their pockets. Dreamers receive chains, thinkers receive shackles, visionaries receive labels that distort their gift. Poets receive the title of enemy. The crime they define again and again is imagination. Cells fill with those who carry stories. The ones who once stood in public squares now sit on stone floors in dim corridors, yet their presence continues to radiate. In one such cell, a woman traces stars on the walls with whatever pigment she can find. Each night she lifts her hand and adds a new point of light. Guardians ask for reasons. She smiles and replies, "So your memory always includes the sky." Her answer floats through the corridors. It passes from mouth to mouth, from heart to heart, until entire blocks of prisoners fall asleep beneath invisible constellations. Debate fades from the halls of power. In its place, interrogation. Instead of dialogue, extraction. The old regime buries books, hides manuscripts, locks away any page that still remembers kindness. Behind sealed doors, they hold their councils, trading names for favor, rewarding those who obey and striking at any gesture of compassion. They wear plain uniforms now, faces hidden behind machines and codes, yet their presence feels the same as in palaces, a hunger for control dressed as order. They fill their prisons with prophets, with musicians who sing of dignity, with historians who remember too clearly, with philosophers whose questions slice through propaganda. They attempt to starve a revolution by isolating its soul. They grip the body to frighten the mind. And yet thought keeps its own kind of physics. Ideas bend around obstacles. Dreams slip through the smallest cracks. Under pressure, the mind retreats into deeper chambers where pain no longer writes the final script. In that deeper chamber, each prisoner discovers a light that no hand reaches and no instrument touches. Some call it conscience, some call it spirit, some simply feel it as a warmth that refuses to extinguish. Soon they begin to communicate through it. A rhythm tapped once on the wall and twice on the bedframe. A shared breath taken and released in unison. A glance through the small opening in the door, held just long enough to say, "I remember who you are." Truth changes language. It moves from shouted slogans to posture, from manifestos to presence. A straight spine in the middle of a lineup. eyes that still hold gentleness during questioning, hands that share a piece of bread in a corridor of scarcity. Outside the walls, something stirs. A guard tells a relative a small story. A nurse hears a melody hummed in a courtyard. An official discovers a symbol scratched into the heel of a shoe. Those fragments travel outward. Songs appear that no one wrote on paper. Emblems rise on doors, on stones, on scraps of fabric. They carry meanings impossible to erase because people feel them rather than read them. Children ask at evening fires, "Where did the storytellers go?" Elders hold their silence for a long moment, and in that silence the children hear answers that words could never carry. The regime intensifies its efforts. More cells, more wires, more cameras, more questions. Yet every act of cruelty creates one additional witness. Every shout in a corridor plants another seed of refusal. Every attempt to crush tenderness generates a new resolve to protect it. The idea they wish to extinguish stands unharmed in the center of their own effort. Truth adjusts itself, steps aside from brute force, and waits in the stillness they cannot enter. So the night grows darker in appearance, yet within that darkness thousands of minds begin to glow softly, like embers cupped in careful hands. Thought in its deepest sense remains free. Dreams continue their quiet migrations. Vision travels beyond fences and watchtowers. The old powers succeed in revealing something they never intended to reveal, their own fear. Their entire structure rests on the belief that human beings will forget their inner light, and the very pressure they apply awakens that light in places where it once slept. As this chapter closes, the world still walks through its darkest night. Yet beneath the surface, values begin to gather for their own tribunal. The next movement does not revolve around prisons and chains, but around the question, what qualities of the human soul deserve passage into the new dawn? In our next episode, The Last Trial of the Worthy, we will listen as ambition, pride, greed, compassion, truth, fear, justice, and love step into a great inner circle, and humanity weighs them not through doctrine, but through awakened conscience. Until then, guard your inner sky. Every star you paint inside your own awareness helps another soul remember that the heavens still exist. Our next sponsor is Everly Books Publishing Group, a traditional independent press serving both new and established writers. Everly Books welcomes unsolicited manuscripts submitted directly through everlybooks.org.